Hello, this is Pam. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I have another quilt block that I would like to share with you. This is the Bear Paw quilt block, and this is a very large version here. This one measures, I think, just about 6 3/4 inches square. I'm not going to be making this large one. I'm going to make a little bit smaller one. But this size would be good to make for like a scrapbook page because it's a lot larger. But this is the size block that I'm going to make for you today. And this actually is a little bit bigger than a regular A2 size card. This one measures 5-inch square. So you could still put this on a 5-inch card and mail it. It may cost you maybe another 20 cents or so to put it on the square card, but it still works. And I did actually make a little tiny one. Baby one, I call it. This one will fit onto an A2 size card, but it's very small. You can see there's the front of an A2 card. But since the pieces are so tiny, I thought it would be easier to demonstrate the bigger version. But I will actually put all 3 sizes of these on my blog so you know what punches to use. And then, of course, your center pieces here, all 3 of them are different. So I will put those up for you on my blog. But like I said, today we're gonna make this one. And for the backing, let me pick it up. The backing is just copy paper. Because it was bigger of a quilt block, I decided just to put it on copy paper because, I mean, it makes it stiff enough. You wouldn't have to necessarily use a cardstock backing, but you can if you'd like. But let me tell you what you need to make this. I've already got all my pieces here cut out, punched out, and I got my triangles cut in half. Now the paper, or the Designer Series paper, is from the Alla Bloom stack. This is it here. You can get all of your pieces from one sheet. This is, obviously I've cut a little bit off of here to make the larger squares. But that's what I'm using today. And you need, get that square there, you need 4 1.5-inch squares in this Designer Series paper. And then, like I said, I've already cut all these pieces, but here's the square. These are 3/4 of an inch square. Now, I do happen to have a 3/4 inch punch. This is my punch there. If you don't have a 3/4 inch square punch, you can definitely put these on your Stampin' Trimmer and, you know, just cut a 3/4 inch long strip and then cut them down to 3/4 of an inch. But you will need 8 of these squares. And then the Whisper White, which is kind of hard to see on white, those are also 3/4 of an inch square. You'll need 12 of those. And your 1/2-inch wide strips, which I've buried somewhere here. There they are. You need 1/2-inch wide strips in white. That's for the center pieces. And then you need 1 1/2-inch square for the center. I decided to coordinate a solid Daffodil Delight to match this paper there. So those are the pieces that you will need. Like I said, I will put this up on my blog so you can know exactly which pieces that you need. Now I'm going to use my whatever I did with it. There it is. I'm going to use my craft sheet. It's darker a little bit in color, and then the glue, it won't stick to it like paper will. So this is my craft sheet. This thing here is made by Ranger. I like it because it doesn't stick. So let's get started building this one. Now, like I said, I've already cut my half square triangles, and I do want to share one little tip with you. If you do this by hand, I said you could put it in the trimmer like I did in the other video, but if you use your scissors, take it from point to point and try to lay those points onto the blade there of your scissors. So if you start in the one corner, you can kind of hold it, and then take this tip and line it up to the edge of the scissors there and just cut it. It may not be completely accurate, you may get a little off, but that's what I do when I line up mine to cut them. I think it works fine. Now the glue I'm going to use today is the two-way glue pen. It works perfect for this. And what I do is, once I make one of these quilt blocks, I use it as a guide to make all my other ones. Now the original one I did, I looked at my own quilt block that I have hanging up to get the pattern correct. So as you build one, then you can just look back to that one and, you know, get your placement of all your triangles going in the right direction. So start with the square. This is the Whisper White. I always start in the left-hand corner of the paper. In this case, it's just copy paper. Lay your one block there, and then start with your triangles. This is another one of my favorite quilt blocks. The first one was the Ohio Star one I did a few weeks ago. That's my favorite quilt block. The next one is the Bear Paw. I like its pattern. I think it's cute. And again, so many different variations with different pattern papers that you can, you know, whatever colors. That red and white one there is from the Fresh Prints paper stack. I think you can still find that in the clearance rack, but I like the real red and the Coastal Cabana together. I like that color combo, so that's why I made that one. It's pretty bright. It makes that quilt block stand out real nice. But this paper here that I'm using, the background's that Lost Lagoon. It has a little bit lighter version of it in those flowers, and then the Whisper White. But when I do my quilt blocks, I've made quite a few that I use different, the calico prints they call them, and for me I think it looks best when you use a dark and a light. You just seem to get the best contrast look on your quilt blocks when they're done, and the same in paper. So same thing, a dark and a light. It works best. So I just am continuing around this corner block. I said it's easier when you get one quilt block done. That way you can just follow along with your pattern. Makes it a little bit easier, but if you're making one for the first time, you can just follow along my video and pause it and build. Now I'm going to put the large square in here since I have my two sides. I try to keep it as straight as possible. As I said, it's not always going to work out. I do have gaps in mine. Same with my quilting. I do try to get it as straight as possible when you sew, but sometimes it's really hard. So I'm going to put my square in there, and then do this corner. And when you go to build this, you see when you put your center pieces in there, you can cover up some of your papers that overlap kind of the wrong way, like right there. You can kind of hide that, and looks like you got it just perfect. But I like them. I like the quilt blocks and the paper. They're cute. I like quilts in general. And this glue does give you a little bit of wiggle room, a little bit like the mono liquid glue. Move it around before it completely sets and dries. Alright, so there's my corner. Now what I do is I take the strip that goes into the center, and this one I made it all one length, and then these two are just short pieces. So I'm going to take my 1/2-inch strip. Of course I don't need this whole giant piece, but I'm going to glue that all the way down, and usually I take my grid paper. I'm going to trim that off just a little bit. Usually when I build this, I'm on my grid paper, and I can line this up square. So if my line right here is not exactly straight, at least I'll get this piece on straight. But I'm not on my grid paper right now, so I am just going to eyeball it and hope I get it on there fairly straight. Alright, so here's my strip. And we'll stick that down. And if you get extra glue that comes off the side, which and it shows up a lot on your white paper, this is the little adhesive remover tool. You can run it along your cardstock or your designer paper and get all that off. Alright, so the next thing, this one's long enough. Put the next piece here. Yep, that one will work. If you cut your paper on like the 11-inch length or 12-inch, whatever you buy, you should only need one. But this one happens to have been cut on the short side, so I needed 2 strips. Let's see, I can come in there and I can line that up. Try to get all my glue. Sometimes it just rubs right off. Now the next one over here, I'm going to start with the square, since we are right into that corner. And this glue pen, you push it down. If the glue quits coming out of it, you push down on it, and it comes out again. So let's put that one up there. Get it lined up. Got quite enough glue in there. Alright, good enough. Now we're going to start in this corner here. So this one starts off with the white one. I'll put the white one right on the corner. And I'll try to speed it up a little bit. I wanted to do the whole, I want to try to get this quilt block in the whole video without stopping, so you can see the whole thing done. Actually, I think I'm going to put, see, I didn't quite get enough glue up under there. Let's see if I can get rid of that. I can peel it up. It's going to cause a problem if I don't get that stuck down. Now you see, now I got all kinds of gunk on there, so take your little tool. And you kind of want to do this when your paper is stuck down all the way, because if not, you might pull it. So see, that gets rid of all that yucky stuff on the cardstock. I love that little eraser, a colored eraser. It's adhesive remover, but it's an eraser to me. Alright. That's it. I'm going to try to speed myself up just a little bit here. But I do want to make the whole quilt block. So if you don't want to watch me go along here while I fast forward it, and I'll meet up with you on the other side. but they're pretty much just mirrored images of each other on each side. This one and then mirror image over there. Now I'm going to start in this corner, because when I get down to this corner, if I get them off a little bit, that solid square goes right there, and I can kind of hide a little bit of any possible mistakes that I made if I didn't get it in there straight. Whoops. See, I told you that glue didn't dry, or doesn't stick immediately. You do have a little bit of wiggle room, which that's great when you paper piece or when you do punch art. You kind of want that so you can get it right in the same spot. Now see, this one I put glue on already, and this glue is like a two-way. If you let it dry, it becomes like removable. But if you want it permanent, just add a little bit more glue to it, and it'll stay right in its place. So if I get it a little more crooked than what I want, apologize, I'll speed it up here. Alright, see, that one didn't match up too bad. A little gap at the bottom, but that's fine. Alright, so next we're going to start up in this corner. So let me grab my next round of pieces. And it's a white half square triangle. Oops. Sometimes this glue will come out a lot. Sometimes a little. And calico. Like I said, there's very many looks that you can get with your quilt blocks and the pretty pattern papers. Stampin' Up! Has quite a variety of pattern papers. There's brights, subtles. Of course, if you buy the paper stacks, you get all the same pattern in all of the different color families. But their designer series paper, there's all different kinds. I think the Sweet Taffy would be cute in one of these quilt blocks. Bright colors. That'd be fun for kids, for kids cards or kids scrapbook pages, because they're very bright. But I like the florals. Those are my favorite. Alright, so let's go in with a large block. And I'm going to start, I'm going to put that piece in, so I need my other strip. Like I said, my pieces were cut on the 8.5 inch size, so they were a little shorter. But doesn't matter which way you cut them. Alright, so there's our center strip. Now I'm going to start in this corner and work my way back over that way. Kind of seems like I'm going back and forth, but it's all for a reason. I like to get that. If you're going to have a little bit crooked squares and half square triangles, to try to keep your offset or crookedness, as I call it, to one side, so it's not completely just all over the whole quilt block. That way if I get a little off, I can kind of make it over and cover it up on this side instead of having it. And I just put that together wrong. See? I'm not paying attention to myself. It is supposed to go the other direction. Well, now, that's what I get for babbling and not paying attention. Well, we're going to leave that block there. I will come back and fix that, but I'm not going to right now because I don't have any extra pieces cut out. So that one's going to be backwards. That's why it is always nice to have your guide there. Oh well. I said I can fix that. I can just cover them up. I can punch out some more squares and fix that right up. No big deal. Because if I try to peel that off, I think it's going to tear my copy paper because it is so thin. This cardstock, I might be able to get away with it, but that's just cheapo copy paper. Alright, so my last square, and actually I got that pretty straight. A little off down at that side, so that's not bad. So disregard that square. On to the next. We'll put our 1.5 inch square there. I really don't know how much time this has taken me to do, but they're really fun. So if it takes you a little bit longer to do them. Now the little tiny one, it took me a little bit longer to do that small, tiny one, just because the pieces were so small. They were hard for me to get a hold of. Now, see, I'm putting it together wrong. Look at my original. And these are the tweezers. Sometimes I do use those. I love these. These are the backwards ones. You can easily pick pieces up. So if your fingers are nimble and you can't pick them up, you can use tweezers. Whoops. Those work great. These pieces here are big enough to where I can pick them up, alright, without having to use those tweezers. With that little tiny one, yeah, I would probably say tweezers would work better on that one, because those pieces are just so small. On to the last one. See if I can put this last one all together correctly. Oh well. Live in an imperfect world. Alright, now I'm going to come down to this corner and work my way up, like I said. So if I mess up, at least I can cover up that way. So I need the white one. And calico. And your fingers do get sticky. My fingertips are sticky. You get that glue on them, but it rubs right off. Washes off. That's why I like this mat. It doesn't stick. Alright, one more square and then our center. And I'm done with the bear paw. I haven't really decided if I'm going to do another quilt block tutorial. Of course, I have lots of ones that are my favorites. They do take a little bit more time to make, but I like my paper quilt blocks. Alright, and there is the bear paw. Now, all I did was put this on a trimmer and trimmed it up, like this one. Take one of your square sides and just trim all of this up. You can put another border around it if you'd like. You could do red, or you could even, like in this one, you could use the Coastal Cabana as a border outline for it if you'd like. This one I would probably go with even maybe a So Saffron or the Daffodil Light if I put a border around it. But that's the bear paw quilt block that I have to share for you today. Like I said, I do have the 3 sizes, and I will put those up on my blog of what sizes that you need. This one uses a 1-inch square,